Today, we will be discussing the South Dakota statistics. The three most popular universities at this time are University of South Dakota, South Dakota State University, and Southeast Technical College. While technical degrees are becoming more common, I was unaware that this college existed, let alone was one of the top in the state. Another thing that was of interest to me is the popularity of the German language among people in our state. 13,442 people speak German in South Dakota. This equates to roughly 1.9%. It makes sense considering how many states in the surrounding area also speak German. However, it is not often that you hear anything other than English being spoken, let alone German. Next, we will discuss diversity. People from Mexico, Guatemala, and Ethiopia are among the top residents in South Dakota. This was surprising to me because of how different the climate is here as opposed to where they're from. South Dakota is known for its harsh winters and the Black Hills. These three countries mentioned are primarily warm climates. Currently, there are 3,140 people from Mexico, 2,377 from Guatemala, and 2,462 people from Ethiopia residing here in South Dakota. Now let's talk about the gender and the population. South Dakota is almost equally matched for men and women residing here. There are 446,854 men and 434,931 women in this state. This was far less of a gender gap than I expected. While it's not that more men are necessarily seen around, it's that South Dakota tends to be more spread out in population across the state, and this is why it stood out to me. Now I would like to discuss the things that I don't necessarily agree with. The data page for South Dakota states that the average median household income has gone up by $1,621 in 2021 from the previous year. While this is great, it doesn't accurately show what people are dealing with in their everyday lives. Many are living paycheck to paycheck now more than ever due to inflation. In my next slide, we will see that inflation has gone up by 9.1%. Even now, the average median household income in 2022 was only $67,180. In 2021, it was $63,920. So yes, technically they can broadcast that household incomes are improving, but it's somewhat of a scam to do so considering that the cost of living has gone up as much as it has. Inflation has become so high that many are unable to put aside funds for savings, and there are choices between groceries or gas, and many wonder which bill they will have to pick and choose to pay this month. The cost of living is costing families in South Dakota $754 more a month than what it did previously. In addition, they have also put on the data page that the employment rates are increasing. Just like anything else, this can be shown as a positive, but again, it's subject to change and isn't always as it seems. In 2020, COVID-19 hit the world. Many people lost their jobs or were unable to work. They advertise that employment rates have increased, but this doesn't specify if they've increased based on what they were before the large amounts of layoffs, or if they're simply basing it on the employment rates as it is during COVID. It seems like poor transparency to not take into account the large amounts of unemployment that COVID has caused and also post those rates. Without doing so, only a growth of opportunities is seen, but that may not be the full truth. Finally, we have property values. In 2021, the median property value was $187,800. We will take a look at Pennington County as an example of what to compare this to. For Pennington County, the median property value is currently at $364,500. This is an increase of $189,900 in just 3 years. Property value is great until you're actually looking to buy. At this point, most can no longer afford to buy, which leaves landlords stuffing their pockets. Again, this is because of inflation. The same properties that were being valued at the first cost could easily have no added value since the original value was placed. Yet inflation has caused it to be worth more than what's affordable. Most statistics are important to look at, and interpretation and facts are also equally important. Keep these in mind, especially when such broad information is being posted.